Segueing, talking about art, Darren, you are in the process of releasing. You have a podcast that's about conscientious living through art, through creation. Talk about that project and what'll be coming up from that.
Yeah, and by the way, Ken, thanks a lot for allowing us to talk about some of these projects. We appreciate it
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it is fun to talk about the stuff you're doing, and I find that all of a sudden, like I haven't talked about this. Eric doesn't really even know about it, and it's nice to be able to be asked a question. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Breaking news. I try to
Yeah,
break the news here on the
yeah.
podcast.
You thought Eric and I were close. Guess again. um, but yeah, no. The issue with the podcast is I've always wanted to do that. I love what you guys do. And I love hearing the same way you explained it, like hearing people's stories, why they do what they do. And so, I'm not an avid podcast connoisseur, but I do have a few that I listen to. You Must Remember This is one, because it pertains to old Hollywood and sort of the secrets that are in it,
Oh,
which I
nice.
love because I'm kind of a film fanatic.
Yeah.
But I like that stuff, and I have a friend who this year has sort of helped me before the pandemic. I've had a few soul searching kind of years in my life where I'm trying to get to like a little bit more happiness. And so that's kind of the point about conscious living is I try, I wouldn't say I have a problem with drinking, but I definitely wanted to cut back. So today actually is 9 months of me not drinking. And it's not like it was really inhibiting me, but I wanted to see like what's life
Mhm.
like. I drank my ass off for all these years. What would life be like again if I didn't? And so he sort of helped me with that and find a way to um, do set myself up a little bit more for success. Okay, because those hangovers take a long time to
Mhm.
get through, and you're wasting your life that could be spent painting. And so I always said if I had the time, what would I do with it? And God has given me the time right now. And I'm painting more than I ever have and, working on myself. And I told myself I wanted to keep my eyes wide open this year. And so all the opportunities that come my way, I want to be ready for. So that had to do with like being clear minded with the drinking. And so when my friend Pat and I was telling me all these things and he was helping me along, I said, we got to do a podcast about this. I have the time now. Let's do that. So to answer your question, with him, and all the things that he's shown me, we talked a lot about going into things consciously and knowing what you're getting into. And because of that, it's kind of like, okay, if I go into drinking consciously, I know that I don't have to do what I've been told all these years, that because I go to a bar, I have to drink. Who said, where in the rule book does it say you have to drink when you go to a bar? When you go to a family party, why do you have to always drink? It seems like there's like a lot of these things that get instilled in you. And then all of a sudden they become part of who you are. Well, with conscious living, you realize that a lot of who you are is really bullshit. You're really sort of this blank slate and you just kind of tack on things that we find interesting or you were manipulated into sort of believing over time. Because of all of those things, I wanted to really put it into it's hard to understand without reading a lot of books about it and really
Mhm.
focusing on it. Eric talked about meditation and things like that. I wanted to put it in a way where I can connect to some things that I love artistically and talk about the things that I pulled out in, from that art. So movies, books, music, a great record that you love. Why is it for years you listen to that record and it can continue to speak to you differently? So we just discover in the podcast those kind of it's called remainders, and it's what you leaves behind. What does that artistic piece of work give you that you carry around in your life that helps you be a better person, that you consciously thought about and said, I want to take that and make that part of Darren Vorel or, you know, whoever you are. So that's kind of the idea behind it. And I'm really excited about the content that we have. I don't want to give it away too soon about
Mhm.
our first episode just because it's a month away, but
Sure.
um, it's kind of starts with something about life and death. It kind of ends the first season. And so we really explore a lot of those things, and I don't know if anyone's going to listen to it, Ken, but I think that it's interesting enough where I would want to listen to it.